The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious mind. The first human being who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. The mind is like an iceberg, it floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. The interpretation of our dreams can give us insight into our subconscious desires and fears. Most people do not really want freedom because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. The unconscious of one human being can react upon that of another without passing through the conscious. The mind is like an iceberg, it floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. A man who has been the indisputable favorite of his mother keeps for life the feeling of a conqueror. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. The behavior of a human being in sexual matters is often a prototype for the whole of his other modes of reaction in life. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Civilized society is perpetually menaced with disintegration through this primary hostility of men towards one another. The ego is not sharply separated from the external world, it extends tentacles into it. Every normal person, in fact, is only normal on the average. His ego approximates to that of the psychotic in some part or other and to a greater or lesser extent. Psychoanalysis is in essence a cure through love. The tendency to aggression is an innate, independent, instinctual disposition in man. Religious doctrines are all illusions, they do not admit of proof, and no one can be compelled to consider them as true or to believe in them. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love, never so forlornly unhappy as when we have lost our love objects or its love. The mind is not master of its own house, and a patient will cease to be a patient when he has found someone to love. The conscious mind may be compared to a fountain playing in the sun and falling back into the great subterranean pool of subconscious from which it rises. The most complicated achievements of thought are possible without the assistance of consciousness. Everywhere I go, I find a poet has been there before me. When inspiration does not come to me, I go halfway to meet it. Time spent with cats is never wasted. Neurosis is the inability to tolerate ambiguity. The ego is not master in its own house.